Distinguished colleagues and friends, good afternoon. In several minutes, we can start our session and discussion. And now, you can get acquainted with each other, have a conversation. We have 2 more minutes. Distinguished colleagues, we have a small suggestion for you. If you can switch on the sound of your mobile phone, it would be perfect. So if you need to have a conversation, please leave the hall in order to speak. Good afternoon, distinguished friends. I'd like to welcome all of you here in the Republic of Bashkortostan, the heart of it, Ufa, on the 16th International Business Week. Undoubtedly, it is one of the higher-level events connected to business. Thank you very much for choosing our session. Today, we would have a conversation about regional digital platforms as business development tool. The conditions of non-globalization, so up-to-date conditions when we have some tendencies, the topic tendencies on the global market. So we can see that we have the new directions for entrepreneurship, and we see that a lot of regions are developing their digital platforms under different brands, also under a lot of features which unify the entrepreneurs society. And here on our session, we would like to listen to experts and colleagues about the market's trends, which best practices and successful practices exist, and how to use the digital solutions. What an ordinary entrepreneur should understand under this notion, how to incorporate, integrate, and how to bind everything up together. So we'd also talk about unmanned technologies, social cards, and so on. And to the end of the session, we need to understand the ways of integration conducted and what would be the profit, how fruitful it could be for the business. Today, we have 8 speakers. One is remote. So in total, I think I would present the speakers further on the conversation. So here, colleagues, I need to underline and also address the speaker with an unusual notion. Please follow the timing, just because we need to finish up everything in time. So we start up with Alexander Petrov, the expert of Unified Center of Business Partnership under the Registry of Council of SCO. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. Thanks very much, Rustam Zefovich, for the invitation. I need a microphone. First of all, I want to create the context of our session, to start not about exact tools, but mostly talk about tendencies which are global and which are forthcoming. So in principle, of course, e-commerce is growing around the world, also in Russia. We have global marketplaces which are developing and covering up the most of retail share. So our market is following this trend too. We have the key marketplaces of Russia, which double their income each year. The volume of market is 7 trillion rubles right now in marketplaces, and it's only 14% of the whole retail volume of Russia. We could say that it's not a bad number, and it would increase soon if we are talking about the development of this direction. To reach the wave, everyone who wants to introduce himself on this market could take a small share or even bigger share just because the market is developed highly. 52% is represented by 2 key players, Wildberries, and the second is Ozone. They are key marketplaces which are universal just because they work with different types, all ranges of goods, and they are highly developing. As I mentioned before, approximately they double annually each 3 years. The understanding is that retail is new oil. It's a new direction where we would have the influx of money, where would be a dynamic development increase. No difference whether we have any changes on the market. It's a global tendency. It's a global trend which we cannot escape from. As previously we had cash and now we all use cards and everyone uses just all e-payments. People use cash, but less than it was before, especially in big cities. The same happens with retail because it would take its share of the market until they will reach the balance. What you need to know, what would happen with our market, domestic market? First of all, there would be only one. It's not my forecast, it's not my vision, it's analytics that exist on the Western market. So all of us are following the European model just because in accordance to the mentality and retail market, we're closer to Europe, so we have the same development stages that European market had 2 or 3 years ago. Of course, we'll have consolidation from these two players. There would be only one. We will see how it would end up if one would devour the second, or maybe they would have the third player who would devour both of them. These are the variants, but in fact, the thing which we need to be ready for, there would be one global player who would create the tendencies and the rules for this market. So following up, resales and companies who are working with such marketplace would have worse conditions when we have right now. So if you are now working on the marketplace, you need to earn on that flourishing, even though some people say that there are harsh conditions that exist right now. Do you have some sales from marketplace? Maybe some companies who sell on the marketplace? One company. Okay, thank you. What would happen with the structure? There would be one unified and 4 or 5 marketplaces, which would be universal, and 150 or something of just one direction markets. Because the conditions of the market would lead to all the sellers to spread their business through other platforms. So they would appear the niche marketplaces or field marketplaces. So the topic of our discussion is regional marketplaces or regional platforms is one of the things which would develop on the territories. And the main conditions is that the conditions for the main players would be quite harsh. So they would work on several rules. They would work with limited territory or within the limited amount of goods. So we could say that this field is very perspective. We need to go there, develop it, and there you would earn money for the further several years or dozens of years. Which strategies are there on the market? First of all, is become the part of the bigger system, or for example, the part of giant marketplaces or parts of other marketplaces. I'm talking about the strategies for businessmen because I'm a business consultant on working with such issues. Another variant is to head the region, to become the front player, or to create your own marketplace. The third direction is quite expensive. We have conducted the research for one of our clients. He was asking about his own marketplace. So we entered some of the experts, so visited some of the experts and asked about it. For example, in Sberbank, they said something in between 200 million. So yeah, thank you very much. I told them it's quite a nice price for a marketplace. So the program would be developed right from the scratch. Now there are existing programs for marketplaces on the market. We also analyzed it, and we could say that the price is lower. For example, you need just 10,000 to enter it. Of course, such programs and apps are not that flexible as your own. Of course, the functions would be different and they would be reduced, but the price is quite low too. And it stagnated significantly just from 200 to 10 millions. So if you want to enter the market, welcome. It's just a high time to start this. As for sellers, I thought that there would be more, so I could say that I gave you a personal consultancy. First of all, boost up your brand, because brand is the thing which would work for perspective. As I mentioned before, the structure of marketplace would have 3 levels, 3 stages, and each stage would support and also enforce the brand selling. So on the giant market, you need to be present only for self-promotion, but most of the volumes you will reach only on small marketplace. The second is to be flexible, just because you see the conditions are changing. You're seeing new players, new marketplaces developing, so you need to be very flexible and react rapidly for everything that happens around. Change your strategies, change your choices, change your tools too. And third, you need to be everywhere. If you want to develop your own product, your goods, you need to work at every marketplace under your brand you have. Okay, that's all what I wanted to mention. I am an expert of the Business Council of SCO as of this territory. What I wanted to mention, the biggest market is in China, of course, and $4 trillion is the average amount they could reach in several years. So you need to look at top 20 marketplaces in Asia. In each country, they have some top marketplaces which have their own share, and we need to remember the features of each region in order to find the right strategy and also to evaluate it within the knowledge of these peculiarities. That's all, my dear colleagues. So if you need some additional information or ask some of the questions, this is my Telegram channel where I answer the question, and I also provide more information about the strategies. Thank you very much, Alexander Anatolovich. You mentioned that there are 200 companies which would appear with regional solutions on the market. How would they conduct their business? Could they hypothetically unite? As you see, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, we're talking about our future. Can they unify against the global brands, or would they compete in between each other? I think that strategically we would have another image. For example, regional organization would create their own marketplace, just regional marketplace, and there would be several of them on the territory of Russia. When they would intersect in the regions, they would have a question if they compete or make friends. And I think that partnership would be more effective when to compete with each other. So I believe that regional players would become bigger, and when their interests would be shared, they would also have unified products, goods, programs, and also platforms. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. We also wanted to show one of the practices, how such product in Udmurtia, made in Udmurtia, is developing right now, what they have made, what are the results and their vision on if it's possible to conduct the regional interaction. I would like to give the floor to Denis Mikhailovich Dmitriev, the General Director of Made in Udmurtia. I am the head of Made in Udmurtia. My name is Denis. We have a state-private company just because it's 75% is presented by the private market, and we have an interesting result of this program. In 2020, when there was the beginning of pandemic, we realized that there is no such detailed information about Udmurtia and also the companies working on the territory of it. So we have created the initiative on development of our own platform. We looked at some of the giant marketplaces, for example, Kazan Express, and we saw that it takes a lot of money, and it would be very difficult to compete with such companies because you need some billions of rubles to pay for the advertising each month. That's why we have developed the B2B marketplace named after the region, and in 3 years it reached such result that 169 countries have already visited our market. We also made the accent on the export. We understand that Russian market is only 2% from the global customers we can have. So we understand if we want to make our brands flourish, we need to work on export because 90% of purchases are made there. So right now we have a lot of B2B customers there, and more than 4 billion orders were made via this platform. And right now we position ourselves like an advertising platform. We do not do the sales, and we have no taxes from the sales. We are something like Russian Alibaba. You can see on the screen the examples of such orders and the directions where they go. For example, starting from our food or valenki, just local shoes, and up to steamer. It was an unusual case for us just because we had a customer from India who just decided to order the steamer. He put it into his basket, and then we see that now we have it. And now we have talks with the company in India which are developing one of the programs there. And with the help of our marketplace, they have reached a giant contract for themselves. Within the October 2023, they would reach such the numbers that at the beginning there were only 50 countries. Right now, 591 cities around the world. Even though we haven't used the subsidies, we just had only IGR channel and that's all. It's just a support, I could say, because it's our private financing of entrepreneurs. We summon money all together, and I could say that such practice is real. And now, from the regional marketplace, you can create even bigger international trade platform. Right now, we have more than 4 countries presented among producers: Indonesia, Singapore, India, and Russia. And yesterday, at least yesterday, the producer from Indonesia also received an order from Russia. If we're talking about Russia, previously we had only the manufacturers from Udmurtia. After a while, with the head of our republic, we have decided to open this opportunity for other regions to share their goods and also to place them on the market because they wanted to repeat it, because they need to organize it within the work with the state. It's all about bureaucracy. So they wanted to place the products on our market too. So right now, within 3 years, here on Udmurtia B2B, we have 50 cities of our country. On this map, you can see top 10 countries which have visited us in this year. So Russia, USA, Belarus, China, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Germany, Great Britain, France, and India. Now we have English and Russian language. We also want to add Chinese and Indian. We have prepared a ready-made platform, and I could even say that during the pandemic, they have supplied us with this platform for free. I could say that it saved a lot of money for us. We also used the help of the Ministry of Trade of Russian Federation, just because we have a lot of representative offices in other countries. So 19 of offices supported us actively, and they're in the local societies. They didn't even involve some new variants, some new funds, just via the presentation of information about our company. They made it real. So we even have some beds for dogs, which are very popular in Great Britain. Some of the sweets are very popular in Switzerland. And talking about agricultural products, we also used such a direction as showrooms, which could work on revenue sharing. It's not needed just to use large amounts of funds to start the new market, also to open the new barn, to open the new place. Even if you invest 200 million, it wouldn't be that easy and possible. For example, some of the Russian local, we could say, marketplaces still cannot reach the plus. We don't want to work on such model. We need to earn money. So taking into consideration and comparing our model to other competitors, we don't have taxes from the sales which we have and services, just because the server knows better how to send and how to deliver different types of goods. It's also the opportunity to sell the products under the order. If we talk about just retail marketplaces, you need to have a QR with yourself, and that also frightens some of the producers, which has nothing just in stock. Another interesting aspect is, at the end, I would like to show you the slide with the example. We have crowdfunding and crowd investing on our website too. So if you want to test some of the goods which you have, you could publish your goods, collect pre-orders, also collect payment, and on the basis of this sum of money, they could start manufacturing. For example, talking about a pot or a T-shirt or even a beehive. And then we see how many pre-orders you will have within just a week, for example, on this market. So we have created our own formula of success, how we can reach the results. And the way is what we have our own path, which is called AKM, after Kalashnikov's gun. It's the thing which could help any seller represented here. First of all, you need to analyze the market. What is the price? What is the geography of your goods which you have? If you are interested in it, you can find the educational section on our website for 2 hours. After 2 hours, you can understand how to analyze the market, so you don't need to buy some expensive systems. It's content because lots of people buy with their eyes. One of the manufacturers of honey is asking why he could not reach good sales on the territory of Bashkortostan. We opened his website. There are several white cans with honey, with just a signature honey. And the reason is that another manufacturer has more customers just because he has the right visual packaging. The video, the website, good pictures, and also information about this. Just because white cans is not enough. They believe for those who seem to be experts, and everyone buys with their eyes first of all. So talking about Amazon, there are several features which play an essential role. And first is picture, then feedback, and third is marketplace. Firstly, we start ourselves like a trade platform, and right now we want to create a So it's the way how the entrepreneur would be replaced in such cases which are unfavorable for people. Because, for example, we have a lot of people who come to us and they say that I can do this, but I cannot sell. Sometimes we're asking if you just don't want to do that. I want just to have a box, so you do some magic and somehow it would be sold. If not long ago it was impossible, but right now, after artificial intelligence, we see that we can conduct it without the help of our entrepreneurs. We can just bring goods. And the app can help you with this issue. So, for example, you want to buy Valenki boots. They are popular in Norway, in Canada, and some other countries where it's very cold. After that, you need to create the content. You need to make pictures. So you can see that even the background can be changed artificially. Also, the description of it can be created artificially. And then the thing which we haven't got here in Russia, it would buy the advertisement for your goods by themselves, and also translate everything on 18 languages with your own voice, for example, as it was with me. So 24/7, the AA would sell and know everything about your goods, which you have. So you have no need in sales managers, because round the clock, the AE would work and would create the conditions for it. And also you see that the price for declaration would be even cheaper. And each, even small, good would be competitive on the global market if you prepare everything in the right way. I would also show you another example where we have sold volunteer shoes too. We also have one of the giant orders. It's 50,000 pairs of shoes to Switzerland. It happened that one of the plants in Perm received this order, and they also had the 35-year contract from India. And among unusual customers, I could say that Ivan Chai from Krasnogorsk went to Sydney, and it was in 2022. When we had no visas and no MasterCard, we even conducted the payment. So it's possible. Even though you hear that nothing is working and you cannot receive the payment, everything is working if you want it. Also, some other examples, we even sold our Valen key to the USA, New York, and the second went to Miami. And somebody in Miami is wearing our Valenki made in Udmurtia. Talking about the sharpeners, so it can be either small business or big one, no difference. Everyone could reach the international market. And we do not prohibit for everyone to join it and to share the contacts, because all the contacts are open. We do everything for free, and we earn only at the advertisement, the same as Alibaba. But you know that now you need to pay for your account in Alibaba. But if you want a bit more, yeah, here it's also about the advertisement. We'll create more advertisements for other platforms too. And about the international payments, we could say that we have no ready-made services for everyone who was working Visa or MasterCard. Those businesses are blocked. And we have prepared a new startup, and now it is called UdemPay. Then it would be called Up. For example, just to say, can I up it? For example, pay with our app. We decided to unify all the national paying platforms for Russia, China, India, Latin America, and other countries. And it can be real too, as you can see. Our country also provides support and help to us. For example, Central Bank too. So this payment system, as you can see, for example, SBP, Alipay, Chinese, RBP from Africa, UPI, RuPay from India, they could work. And the person who comes here to Ufa, for example, from China, he could just use his smartphone to buy everything he needs. and there would be no dependence from one country which could manage our financial flow. That's the way how I want to end up. I want to interact with you for 1 minute. These are free goods which I wanted to present for you here on the crowdfund platform universally. So right now, for Russia, there is no access to it. That's why we wanted to restore this practice here. So just think over. These were the pre-orders. The startup has no manufacturing, nothing. Is it possible? How many people would like to order this sport in 30 days? What about the amount of money? Name any. 3 million rubles? $3 million? 3 million rubles. Okay, thank you. 5? 5 million. Okay, let it be. What about just a sweatshirt thing? I think that it would be quite pricey because it's women one for women. No, there is nothing unusual about it. So just usual one. So how much? 1 million. What about beehive? Who would order a beehive? Who needs a beehive? Maybe they really believe that you will get honey easily from it. If you are not a bee breeder, it's not that easy to understand. So what about the amount of money that they have collected for pre-orders? 15? 15 million? For a bee breeder? Really? Maybe you understand something, yes? Are you ready? So let's have a look. 331 million rubles within 30 days for a pot. 907 million rubles this hoodie or sweatshirt. Everyone thinks that if the goods are cheap, you won't collect a lot. And 1,165 million rubles was the cost of the beehive. What I want to say, we have all our borders only in our minds. So if you have no customer here in Izhevsk, maybe you just search in the wrong place. Of course, you have it. And around the whole world, you can find your investors, your customers. You need only to start. That's the thing that we want to repeat at our regional platform, just because it's not only about Udmurtia. So the Entrepreneurs Association of Republic of Bashkortostan invite you in order to have interaction, to cooperate with each other. So join us. Here you can see QR. Thank you very much for the opportunity to participate.
So thank you a lot, Denis Mikhailovich. I'd like to ask you one question. But after your slide, I think that you have already answered my question. So, dear colleagues, for those who do business and for those who are interested in growing your sales while entering different markets, you can use this tool that is suggested by Made in Udmurtia market. So the next speaker will be online. Diana Kazimovna, we welcome you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm happy to be here. Unfortunately, I had no opportunity to come to Ufa to that event, but I really thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to tell you about our business. So, as Denis has told, we want to have business with you and to work with you. Our region is famous for light industry. We develop agriculture and tourism. we have these famous touristic directions. We faced one problem. So our production, so no regions know about our production. We were in Moscow, and and they had this low estimation about our product in Moscow. So today, the goods of our region are better than the goods of Turkey and China, and all the citizens of Russian Federation wear our hats, so wear our goods. I know that this direction is also developed in the Republic of Bashkortostan, and for us it is important to create this productive for business area. I am sure that, taking into consideration that in the region we produce goods of high quality, and I believe that the goods from our region will be very popular, and would like to
prepare some preferences for those entrepreneurs who want to enter the market. Within these conditions, we would like to gain the experience of Bashkortostan. Even though we are quite far, I believe that it would be possible for our region to develop and launch this direction. We also talk with the colleagues from the Ministry of Development, of Entrepreneurship in the Republic of Bashkortostan. I also presented that we want to create this brand under the Center of Development of Business, and if it would be possible for us, they would take it as one of the best practices and would also spread it within other regional departments. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. We have a lot to learn from you just because you are more experienced, you went forward. We're just a small republic who also follow your trends, and I hope that we will reach success too. Thank you very much, Diana Kazimovna. And here I also would like to notify that not long ago we were in your republic, Karacháyevo-Cherkessia, and also discussed a lot of things with entrepreneurs, and the light manufacturing is one of the main targets, the main industries which we need to develop. And we heard from young entrepreneurs that they are interested to have partnerships and search for creative technologies and specialists, because here in Republic of Bashkortostan, we cannot knit a hat of such high quality here in Bashkortostan because we have no such raw materials, for example. But at the same time, our industrial designers and marketologists could create the samples which are needed by your colleagues. And one of the points of interaction is maybe the digital platform which would allow experts from your region to contact our experts too. Thank you very much for joining us. We were very happy to see you here. Thank you. So you are discussing such essential projects which we also would like to implement on the territory of our republic. Thank you very much. So, colleagues, you have already heard several times that digital platforms are essential, and you can see and have such a vision that it's just discussion about marketplaces, e-commerce, e-shops, but it's wider when it seems. And the next speaker is the regional director of IT company, Uchar.ru, Ranis Raifovich Shakirov. He would present the opportunities of digital platforms and which directions we could have interaction with.
Пожалуйста, вам слово.
The floor is yours. Good afternoon, dear guests and participants. My name is Ranis Shakirov. I am CEO of Uchot IT company. Actually, you have already told about this topic, and we use that term digital platforms and products, and I'd like to tell you more detailed information about it. All you hear about this term digital platforms, and I want you all to understand what it is. Digital platforms are everything that is in the internet. They are social networks, marketplaces, the spaces for communication, and you all have heard about such words like program products. Program products are the programs that we install in our devices. These programs for financial, for accounting, these Word, Excel programs, we all use that programs. And today we're talking about business. We understand that it is very difficult to imagine business without IT technologies today. We know that digital platforms, that business uses digital platforms and program products, and we are IT company and we work with business, and we have created some vision about how to work with that. And the first group of digital products for inner usage, we all use the systems for accounting, for financing, in order to make some price lists. We also understand that we also created these systems for auto usage. Many people now work online and they try to create their own shops. They try to create marketplaces. And the third group, many people haven't realized and used that an entrepreneur, the head of the companies, they have this need. They have this need during making business, during doing business. So they have this need of searching experts, coaches, and they try to find, to cooperate with other companies. They try to find some mutual points with other companies, and they use social networks, and they use Telegram, WhatsApp, and if you look at that, every entrepreneur has this WhatsApp group and Telegram group. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of these chats. And in the end of the day, we have a headache because of these endless chats. And it is very difficult to find an expert in that. So, what opportunities can digital platforms give? We are sure that all these free groups that I have mentioned before, all these digital tools, for all these tools for communication of entrepreneurs, they can be combined into one mutual system in order to make it comfortable for entrepreneurs to work in one system. we understand that in order to have this inner business process, many companies will need to have their own system. And companies now work online. They create their own online shops. They enter regional markets and create regional marketplaces there, and they have a headache because of that, because there are many tools that they use in order to do that, and they don't have this communication between each other. And we think that today we must create one system that every entrepreneur can use in order to communicate with each other. Business, we name it business on one monitor. It would be very comfortable to do business with one monitor. So our company, so we have some decisions about that. We accomplished some of our decisions, and we have started using all these tools of our tools, and we move on. Thank you. This is it. Thank you a lot, Renis. So there are different visions. And when we talk about all these digital decisions, so if we look at that from outside, we can think that a marketplace is the ready project. But if you look inside of the project, you can say that there is still much to do. We can still improve that. So what can we do inside the company? And from the point of view of business, we can see that it is a big problem, especially talking about producers. So when people order some goods and they see that there are different prices every day, it's not good. So, and talking about digital decisions, I mean, again, marketplaces, etc. And the third story is about communication between businesses. We know each other, but often we cannot just find an expert, a specialist. So it is time for the third wave of internship. There was a time, so the second wave of internship were about franchises, and today opportunities of business, they lay into communication. We can divide labor. We need today a producer and entrepreneur that can make these payments, but unfortunately they cannot promote themselves. So Yuri Nikolaevich is our next speaker. He is the Vice President of Entrepreneur Association of the Republic of Bashkortostan. So the floor is to him.
Good afternoon. Where is the presentation? Here you are. So I see. So here, taking into consideration that a lot was said by the speakers before, I could say that our project was created not that easily, and a lot of people took some of the ideas from us or even stole some of the ideas from us. Here we have such things like goods of Bashkortostan or products of Bashkortostan. I must say that we are not this of that brand. We were just working, and we had an idea just because before that we were involved into education of entrepreneurs for 5 years already on the territory of Bashkortostan. Moreover, we were in such places you cannot even imagine. I didn't know that we have such places before. That's why I am so happy that I had Jeep car in order to overcome all the obstacles that we had. And when we met all the entrepreneurs and conducted education for them, trainings, we also had a feedback as an invoice to, even though that they have quite high quality for their good, but they don't know how to sell. And they don't want to plunge into these processes. That's the way how we came up with such a direction where we decided to make it easier for all the entrepreneurs and also customers to pack the product, to place this product, and also to promote it. And together with Rustam Zifovich, we took part in the exhibitions not only on the territory of CIS countries but also abroad. I also had the same attitude to our Bashkortostan. I went to it in Moscow. I know these products, I know these goods, I know such, for example, sauces. But when I asked a beautiful girl about the product, she was looking at me nicely, but that was it. I had no information about the products what I was interested in. So we made a conclusion that we have the right direction to develop ourselves. And in one of our malls, Arteria, we have created our own shop, and we also developed an e-shop, and we made some strong ties with entrepreneurs and signed several agreements. We even had the visits there to Udmurtia, for example. We had a meeting, and then after a conversation, we made up some conclusions that they have created something unique and we have created something unique. Why couldn't we combine it and prepare a new unified product which would have better quality and which would work for the entrepreneurs, where it would be more profitable for the entrepreneur, they would enter this market. And if it's comfortable for a customer, he or she would use this market. So we need to create the right conditions, the know-hows, and some unique features which we want to add up. For me, as a person who is not fully understanding these trends, but I still try to follow them. That's why it's quite a good view and a quite good title, which we have the day after tomorrow. It's all about our goals and perspectives, what we discussed right now. Because, for example, we have no sales management department at my company because we have AE working for this. And I could say that I appreciate it a lot because a lot of ambitious young people create such products, and we can truly enter this stage of just seeing how it works and be satisfied not only through the creation of the product but through the purchase what we have. So I would like to say and to wish everyone good luck. Thank you very much. I also want to applaud you after such nice and warm words. Colleagues, we talked already before that robots are now doing all the processes. Am I the only one who are bored with all this information? But if we are talking about the day after tomorrow, anyway, whether we talk about digital solutions, we still see how people go to people, that the internet and the product should have some human face, human image. And as my colleagues say, we're not only purchasing right now, maybe only due to conditions of such as price or maybe delivery, but still we will come back to the fact that each region has a special set of products. And if we are talking about some additional pricing, it's mostly about interaction and understanding what we need. And whether we have all the digital solutions what we have, we still need the integration with all what we own right now. And still we have two more interesting speakers who would present the thing that without detection of unmanned aircrafts, it's impossible to live right now. So right now we have Sirozidinov Timur, the company for dialogue. And we also have conjoined project, which we plan to develop as unmanned payment and one of the self-serving markets. We also want to implement it and show how would it work. So take the floor, Timur Sirozidinov. Good afternoon. My name is Timur Sirozidinov. I am the head of the department on communication department in the Ford Dialogue company. I'm also the docent and one of the teachers in the Oil Petroleum University. Within the frame of the dialogue which we have today, I would like to present you one of the new threats which we have. It's unmanned aircrafts defense. It's not only for industrial companies. It can also be connected with just, for example, retail centers or any other digital centers. Just because you will lose clients, you will lose customers. If it happens with one company, it would also affect their sales. Even though it's not the big economic threat, but still. In accordance to RBK, for 30th of August 2023, officially there were 511 flights to Russia with great damages and also harm to and even victims. There would be some of the pictures there on the slide. So such accidents occur, and we see that it touches the authorities, industrial objects, infrastructures, and even the housing. What are the ways how to sublime this problem? First of all, it's just straight defense, and the second is elimination of them.
And it is regulated by anti-terroristic committee and information. So some fines and different preventive measures, but all these measures can be applied only to law-obedient citizens. So, for example, we have it is prohibited to use remote piloted vehicles. So if previously we've met the first three methods, and today we have people who are isolated from the society or some foreign countries' agents. Today we use these remote piloted vehicles as the tool of damaging. So there are automated devices. And talking about the tools of manual ones, we can fight with them with the things. So we have some remote piloted vehicles from Ukraine, and so there are these terroristic matters that happen, and they are produced in Russia and they are launched here also. But thanks to these competences and expertise, we can be sure that we have learned how to build these complex systems that can detect these threats and dangers from thousands of kilometers. So the main tool is radio location tool, and these visual devices can work by, and if we detect these piloted vehicles, we have this equipment that we can use in order to detect it.
Means of direct targeting to the unmanned drones. It is also used for the enterprises which are within the cities, because we need to think about the citizens who are around. Other variants are of a duomo type of these, or a roof type. It is used only if there is no other opportunity to use something extra. So everything stops working. It's everything like drones, mobile phones, all types of electric gadgets. In order to find out how to implement such solutions for your enterprise, it is needed not only to learn something about the suppliers and listen to their presentation, it is also needed to know the manufacturing process, also make the analysis of all the planning, find out all the casualties which could occur, and apart from that, all that factors which would be provided by the systems, defense systems for drones, which could influence on the work of the manufacturing plant. And on the basis of this research, it is possible to create such system which would work properly. Here on this picture, you can see the digital model of the threats on one of the enterprises, and here you can see on one of the projects that with the help of digital modeling, you can cover up all the problems which could occur. So many people think that it's easy to implement and install such systems just because you connect with a system of data on the enterprise, but it's a very complicated process, starting with the projecting, preparation, design, and finishing up preparation of the specialists working on it. A lot of enterprises were afraid of launching and installing such solutions because we had some legal casualties, because it should be used only by the guard systems at each enterprise. Right now, with the help of the order of our president, we have an opportunity to use a private guard company on the enterprise to implement the work on this system. And according to Order 256 of the Russian Federation, it is noted that the company or enterprise should be defended from any type of terroristic threat. Within the time, we could say that the bombing or from a drone, it's also a terroristic threat. We shouldn't forget that if we do not apply such systems on the enterprises, you would have also the administrative costs for not only the company, but also it would be other legal issues which you need to solve after that. Just because we have one more article would appear, legal article, even for the management or board of the enterprise, you need to use the preventive measures for the criminal liability to escape criminal liability. And also, apart from mentioning criminal liability, which is under the role of the board, they also need to reimburse the threat the casualties which were caused by the threat. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. That's all, and I am open to answer the questions. Timur, you have quite complicated product. Do you plan to implement it or maybe promote it throughout one of the regional marketplaces? Is it possible to conduct such a communication if you have such a complicated product promoted on the marketplace? So I think it's easy to implement this with any type of goods. I could say yes, that this field is quite narrow, especially throughout the technical defense and physical defense. We have more than 30 different directions on the defense of different types of objects. For example, not only from unmanned drones, lots of other systems. And we are thinking over working with such installments which we can use, which are very high margin. It estimates by dozens of millions. Theoretically, it's possible. I could even provide an example. One of our partners, it's the state corporation Rostec. They have a marketplace with such solutions. But of course, we can have our solution and present it on other markets too. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, we also have another question about automatization. And also digital solution which we can have. And we are talking about the digitalization of the platforms and business development tool and transformation of business support. And I'd like to give the floor to Denis Kegel, the representative of Security Division.
Thank you, dear colleagues, for the opportunity to make a speech here. I'd like to start with the quote of one famous writer. I'm sorry for my voice. So the quote is, if you are afraid of adventures, just try to be in routine and you will die. So talking about routine, our company know about it and we know how to solve these problems, these tasks. And informational and cybersecurity is not the exception here. So the list of our customers, you can see the list of our customers on the slide. It is different areas of business, and it is the different models of maturity. So I will speak numbers. So our company publishes different articles about businesses, and cybersecurity market needs this automatization. You can see 42% are ready to do that, and 48% are ready to integrate automatization, and 6% are ready to integrate everything. I will give you some examples about the fact that each company can be ready to integrate. The first company is Cherkizova. So
we had some joint works in order to eliminate some of the problems. We had one of the companies who already prepared some practices how to work with different types of accidents. So here we were implemented into the ready-made processes of the customer. Robotization is used to provide the person the opportunity to take the key decisions and make the key decisions for the customer. So it is highly and quite rapidly developed, so we have a lot of different solutions, and the amount of operations can be too big. So here we need some qualified personnel who is mostly involved into routine processes, not global tasks certainly need. And within the case when we have no personnel at all, it's very difficult. It's the same as buying Ferrari to go for products to the market. I have a classic example like fishing. I think everyone knows what is it. Without robotization and automatization, this issue is solved into 75 minutes after the analysis and up to the warning of the users and antivirus check-up. So 75 minutes for one incident is too big. It's a catastrophe. Just because it's only for one incident, but what if you have thousands of them? With the help of our platform, so we can reduce the time for 17 times. From the creation of the card about the incident, you will also learn about the sources of this incident, if it is mass or not. So you need only antivirus to be applied for it, but it can be also automatized too, and the warning of the users too. Under the conditions when not all the customers understand how to work with such incidents and how to build up such processes, we also have created the SOAR model, which is based on such concept as first. The first thesis is dynamic playbook. It's just object-oriented reaction and also building up of the blockchain. I think that I talk with quite big terms and I'd like to reveal some of them. So for example, dynamic playbook is the scenario of reaction. So dynamic playbook plays up with the infrastructure which you have. The type and method of attack is also taken into consideration. And also on the basis of such data, they prepare the right scenario for your reality, how to react on this, on all those incidents which we have. Object-oriented reaction, what I said. Within the process of the incident, we have found two objects. For example, you have one external host or something else, and each object need to be eliminated individually, and all the surrounding atmosphere of the incident also is needed to be presented. So after that, we can also see that we have some failure accounts, and this approach gives the right set of actions what you need to have in order to build the right reaction. And kill chain, it has the start and the end of the procedure. What word do we need it? Right now, attacks become more and more complicated. For example, you have a marketplace which has received a DDoS attack. So when you have several invoices at the same time to one target. When a defender, the security system, tries to solve this problem, the attacker, the hacker, also tries to find other bugs and maybe introduce some virus. For example, such attack goes from one IP address, so we have only one source. For our platform, it's a trigger to collect all the incidents into one attack in order to have the full understanding what is happening right now. And as a result, after the defense of from this attack, you can have an opportunity to study this attack and find out other solutions how to prevent it the next time. All in all, what is the main goal of the concept and what is the main advantage of it? So we have more than 40 different scenarios of reaction. In order to work with the incidents, we use neutron matrix. We take into consideration your infrastructure and also prepare the full image of what is happening with retrospective analysis opportunity. Dear colleagues, and cybersecurity need to be flexible, so that's why all this model and also the platform can be recreated under your needs what I'm talking about. We have 6 different construction systems. The first one is for object construction system. It's cards of different, which can be difficult or not. The second is the working processes, and here we can build up the automatization of any process which you have, not only managing of incidents, but also, for example, a lane for on this or that fixture. Apart from that, connector constructor helps us to work with an external system. Oh, here we work with your infrastructure. There are more than 150 interconnections, so it wouldn't be that difficult for you in launching this connector too. We flexibly we flexibly announce the rules and regulations of usage, and as SOAR, respectable SOAR, we provide you the analytics data too. There could be different widgets like diagrams, graphics, or cards, maps, and also report of internal, external type. If you want it to be in different way, just can visually we can also conduct this. Our platform doesn't need you to know the programming codes and programming languages. They are only set in constructors, so we can provide you help in any case. In conclusion, I must add that our main resource throughout all our life is time. That's why we need to react promptly. And the main thesis that most of the hackers use automized systems. Why don't we use them too? That's all. Thank you very much. We also have some minutes which we need to follow. Maybe after that, they would a lot of people who can ask for details. But you explained everything clearly, so I think that people would understand a lot. If it's essential or not, everyone would understand within the time, just because right now security is one of the burning questions which are under discussion. Dear friends, we also talk about integration, about the implementation of our products, personal ones, and also manufacturers of our republic. Here, it is essential to look at such a notion as consumer. And consumer can be quite different from our vision. Mostly we see it like target customer, but right now it can be involved into unified structure where the society or maybe unified community is already from the same country where we can have the communication with. Maybe I'm dimmed a bit, but the next speaker has a very interesting topic to present. It's the citizen card. I'd like to welcome Oleg Nikolaevich Romanov, the Deputy Director General of Bashkir Register of Social Cards.
So I will need my presentation. So I represent Bashkir Register of Social Cards. We opened in 2007. Since that time, things changed. I would like to tell you prehistory a little bit in order to understand this term. So we've made some rebranding, and now we have this Alga card. And so this is the plan of my presentation. You can look at it. I will tell you about it more now. So let's start with this picture. Actually, for these years, we tried, not once, we have the same history as in other regions. So we needed some privileges for the citizens to use. So if the government needs to provide some cards for the participants of the forum, we can provide it. We can create a special card for the participants. And we have these social transport cards that are available for the children of those who now at this special war situation. And we also have these corporate special cards. We also created that when the card allows not just use it during the day. For example, at 8 o'clock, the company will pay for that person, and for the rest of the day, the person pays for themselves. So today, with the help of our national payment system, MIR, they realized this. They implemented this platform, and the goal of this technology is very simple from the point of view of the customer, but it is very difficult to implement that. But the thing is, after you have this certificate, you get the equipment, goods with a discount, 100% discount. It has become possible after we started using these national payment systems. And now we have this service that helps us to implement that. We can understand what was the transaction, who did that transaction, and etc. On the base of that, so we have this. We provide these social cards even on the regional level, and we need to admit that this scheme is not just doesn't just allow. So if someone has this social card, we know everything about that person. We know this person's passport, numbers, address, everything. So these cards are personalized. So there are the categories. It can be school student, it can be an adult person, etc. And this technology allows to personalize the sale, for example, the payment process. So, for example, a family with many children can buy 20 bottles of milk. Every day, one bottle of milk of Chishminsky factory, for example. And this is the technology that we have now, and it works, and it is integrated in other regions. And on that platform, we use these social cards when the customer, when the buyer and the seller can unite and be comfortable with using that. So this is it. I would like to add that so now we do this physical social card, but we can also use this online card that can be registered in your devices. So this is it, I guess.
Thank you, Oleg Nikolaevich. Speaking frankly, as I think, for business and also for you, there is an opportunity to think some other variants of partnership, because for business it's also an additional way to reach the client, the customer. That's the way how we can move forward. Dear colleagues and dear guests, that's the way how we end up our session. So we fill the time. I'd like to address the technical department. Can you please show the QR on the screen? Here you can see. Dear friends, here we have some of the notes, what we need to announce. So here on QR, you can left your own forecast on business and investment policy based on your feelings, your experience and dreams. So you can just scan the QR and send your focus. They would come into this sensor sphere. They would provide the new visions, new senses for the international society. Feel free to predict what would happen the day after tomorrow. Dear colleagues, our panel discussion is finished. We met the minutes. After that, we have some lunch. So if you want to ask questions to the speakers or me, I believe we can spend some spare minutes for this. Or I think that you can meet the speakers and talk in private, because the topics are burning, essential, and quite meet the philosophy of the International Business Week. To sum up our session, what we can say, you can find the QR on the screen. I believe that, all in all, the integration, the interaction between regions and maybe other subjects are in a great need within our country. We are not just competitors to each other, we're also partners who will have a broader vision of the situation. We need to unite and to make a collaboration in between our subjects, because integration is a tool which can be used for direct interaction with colleagues. It's also an essential thing. And now, considering myself from this point of view, considering ourselves, we stumbled to such a problem. We, together with Alexei, are involved into construction of tourist resort. It's very difficult to find personnel who would work there. And also, we need to take into consideration the cultural code of our republic, maybe 100 years ago or even more. We have another variant how people collected goods for sales. It was sent to the cities where there were some transfers, some ships, then to fairs. After that, the buyers, the merchants brought money back and gave it to the masters. I think this type of understanding is what we need in the nearest future. So I need to sum up. We have the third-party countries. And there are also second world countries and first world countries which are economically safe, which are economically successful. But I think that the third countries want to become a second countries, and world countries want to become the first world countries. But what about the dreams of the first world countries? what is the ground zero country, what we need. So to have an outlook for the day after tomorrow, I believe that such country should be Russia. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. Thank you for participation on this session. And now we'll have a private talk, maybe make a photo shoot. And you can get closer to the speakers. So distinguished colleagues, please stay here for a bit longer because I believe that